Onua mekyea bioba LEARNAKAN. So just like most other two-letter words in Twi, this word can have several meanings. The main one that we all know about is to eat, right? So di can mean to eat. So I can say, for example, medi fufu, right? Medi fufu, I will eat fufu. Another meaning of this di, which I will not advise you to use because it's kind of dirty. It's actually very dirty. So it's to have sex with, but the very dirty version. So like the F word in English. So I will not advise you to use this. We have idioms that we use in its place. Apart from this, di can also mean to spend, all right? To spend. So I can say, for example, Kofi ediskano, okay? Kofi ediskano, Kofi has spent the money. Following from this to spend meaning, up to this point in your life, you have spent a number of years already. You know that guy who walks around with a shirt that shows the percentage of life that he has spent already? Yeah, something like that. So up to this point, you have spent a number of years already, and that leads us to the meaning of this di that has to do with age, and that is to attain. Okay, to attain. And this is what we are going to be using to talk about age in today's lesson. But before we do, let's learn a few other vocabulary items around age. The first one that you need to know about is bosome. Bosome, and bosome means a month, a single month. So we have bosome, a month. The plural month is abosome. Abosome, so you just bring a in front of the bosome and you have the plural abosome. One thing that you need to note here is in Twi, the label month or months, so the label bosome or abosome will come before the actual number. What I mean by this is, you know, in English you would say 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, so the number comes before the label months, right? But in Twi, it's the other way around. So if you want to say, for example, 2 months, you would say abosome mienu, not mienu abosome like you have in English. If you want to say 3 months, you would say abosome miensa. 4 months, abosome 9. 5 months, abosome num. 6 months, abosome nsia. 7 months, abosome nson. 8 months, abosome nwɔtwe. 9 months, abosome nkron. 10 months, abosome du. And it's the same with the years. So we have afe, which is a year, a single year. And once you say afe, you don't need to add a number to this. You don't need to add, for example, baako, to have afe baako as 1 year, because afe in itself is 1 year. It's the same with, you know, the bosome. So if you say bosome, we said bosome means a month, a single month. You don't need to add baako to have bosome baako as 1 month. You can, but it's not necessary. Okay, so once you say bosome, that in itself is a month, a single month. And once you say afe, that is a year. But from 2 years going, the plural of afe is mfie. So you have mfie mienu. You add mienu to mfie and you have 2 years. And again, as you can see, we have the label mfie coming before the number 2, mienu. So we have mfie mienu, unlike how you have it in English where it's 2 years. For 3 years, we have mfie miensa. 4 years, we have mfie 9. 5 years, we have mfie num. 6 years, we have mfie nsia. 7 years, we have mfie nson. 8 years, we have mfie nwɔtwe. 9 years, we have mfie nkron, right? And then 10 years, we have mfie du. At this point, I'm sure I don't need to tell you that you need to know your numbers. We have lessons on the numbers. It's up here. Please go and learn at least numbers 1 to 100, because I'm sure your age will fall within this range. You will need those for this particular lesson. Now, with that out of the way, let's learn to ask for someone's age. To ask for someone's age is very simple. You just ask, where did mfie sing? Where did mfie sing? Wedi mfie saying, let's break this down. So we have wo, which is you, singular, because I'm asking you for your age, right? So I use wo. And then we have the a, which is the perfect aspect marker. This translates to English as have or has, right? And then we have the di verb, in this case to attain, right? We talked about this. And then we have mfie, which is years, the plural, right? Years. And then we have the question word saying, how many? We have a lesson on this, it's up here. So when you are asked, wedi mfie saying, literally you are being asked, you have attained how many years? So how many years have you attained so far? Wedi mfie saying. Now with this question, we are assuming that you are at least a year old. But if you are below a year, I'm sure you'll not go and ask someone who is below a year how old the person is. But it's important that you note this, because sometimes you can ask, for example, a mother for how old her child is, all right? In that case, you need to switch this mfie, because mfie is for the years, right? You need to switch the mfie for abosome, right? Months. But we will not talk about that now. We'll come back to this when we are asking for somebody else's age. For now, let's learn to answer the question, wedi mfie saying, how old are you? Now, if you are a year old, you would answer medi afe. Medi afe. I told you that you don't need to add back to afe to make it 1 year, because afe in itself is a year. So you say medi afe. We have which is I. We have a, which is the perfect aspect marker, have or has. We have the di, to attain, and then we have the afe, a year. So I have attained a year, right? I have spent a year. So we have medi afe. Medi afe. If you are 2 years old, you would say medi mfie mienu. Medi mfie mienu. I have attained 2 years. And as you can see, mfie comes before mienu. Don't switch it. If you are 6 years old, you would say medi mfie nsia. Medi mfie nsia. If you are 20 years old, you would say medi mfie eduonu. Medi mfie eduonu. So we have eduonu, which is 20, right? The number 20. So we have medi mfie eduonu. If you are 30 years old, you would say medi mfie eduasa. Medi mfie eduasa. If you are 35 years old, you would say medi mfie eduasanu. Medi mfie eduasanu. If you are 26 years old, you would say medi mfie eduonu nsia. Medi mfie eduonu nsia. If you are 42 years old, you would say medi mfie eduanan mienu. Medi mfie eduanan mienu. If you are 51 years old, you would say medi mfie eduonum baako. Medi mfie eduonum baako. So again, please go and learn the numbers from 1 to 100, because I'm sure your age will be within this range. Now let's move on to asking for somebody else's age. So I'm no more asking you for your own age, but I'm asking you for somebody else's age. And for that, I can ask, wedi mfie saying. Wedi mfie saying. Wedi mfie saying. I know some of you will be asking, what is the difference in sound between wedi mfie saying, how old is he or she, and wedi mfie saying, how old are you? And while, yes, there is a difference in sound between the two, at this point, I'll say you don't need to worry so much about that, because the context within which you use any of the two would tell the difference apart much more than, the sound difference would, all right? But still, there's a difference. So the first one, how old are you, is wedi mfie saying. Wedi mfie saying. So it starts with a wo and then move towards the a. So you have wedi, right? Wedi mfie saying. Wedi mfie saying. And then for the second one, how old is he or she, it's wedi mfie saying. Wedi. So the difference is between the wedi and wedi. Wedi mfie saying. Wedi mfie saying. Wedi mfie saying. Wedi mfie saying. So you would use this if, for example, you don't know the person's name, or let's say you know the person's name but you don't want to use it. Then you can use the pronoun version. Wedi mfie saying. Okay? Wedi mfie saying. But if you do know the person's name and you want to use it, then you can ask, for example, Sewa edi mfie saying. Sewa edi mfie saying. Ama edi mfie saying. Ama edi mfie saying. Wo maame edi mfie saying. Wo maame edi mfie saying. Wo papa edi mfie saying. Wo papa edi mfie saying. Abofra no edi abosome saying. Abofra no edi abosome saying. I told you that you can switch the mfie for abosome if the person is below a year old. So typically if you are asking for the age of a baby, then you would switch the mfie for abosome. So you have abofra no edi abosome saying, right? Abofra no edi abosome saying. Now to respond to these questions, let's take the first one. We had wedi mfie saying, how old is he or she? To answer this, you can say wedi mfie aduonu. Wedi mfie aduonu. He or she is 20 years old. Wedi mfie aduosia. Wedi mfie aduosia. He or she is 60 years old. Wedi mfie aduasankron. Wedi mfie aduasankron. He or she is 39 years old. Wedi mfie aduanainum. Wedi mfie aduanainum. He or she is 45 years old. Wedi mfie dunwotwe. Wedi mfie dunwotwe. Sewa edi mfie aduonunkron. Sewa edi mfie aduonunkron. Me maame edi mfie aduoson baako. Me maame edi mfie aduoson baako. Me papa edi mfie aduokron mienu. Me papa edi mfie aduokron mienu. Abofra no edi abosome miensa. Abofra no edi abosome miensa.